What's up, everyone? My name is Aaron, and welcome to What Does Aaron Know? The show where Aaron goes where no one else can go by answering questions that no one else knows. The question today comes from my friend Rafe. To be perfectly honest, I don't know how to say her last name. Good question, though. My favorite underrated Marvel villain has to be from my favorite TV show of all time. Like, literally, of all time.
This is all my fault.
There wasn't anything you could have done. The Hobgoblin's a lunatic, attacking people at random.
No, not at random. He wanted me.
Osborn!
We've got to talk.
Talk! You kidnapped my son! You're a lying opportunist! Naturally.
And that villain is Hobgoblin. Now you may be asking, is this just an alternate version of Green Goblin? Nope. Hobgoblin is his own character with his own story, personality, traits, and tricks. So let's get into it. There has been a lot of versions of this character, but we're going to stay focused on my favorite, the Jason McIngvale version. More specifically, the version from the Spider-Man animated series. Jason McIngvale was recruited out of college into the CIA, but then was rejected due to his extreme and violent methods. He then turned to the life of a mercenary, using his skill set for his own personal gain. One day, he found a different Hobgoblin's battle van. You know the battle van out there near Creek? That's the battle van he found. And that Hobgoblin's name was Ned Leeds. You know up old Ned Leeds up there by Creek Hollow? Creek Hollow? Ned Leeds? Yeah, that Ned. Not that Ned, this Ned. Ned Leeds took Jason in as an apprentice. Ned wanted Jason to succeed him in due time, but Jason wasn't having that, so he had him killed. Employee of the month, everybody! Then what happens? Well, all the armor, weapons, equipment went to Jason. And if that's not bad enough, wait till you hear what the idiot did next. Jason, with his growing hunger for power, does the dumbest thing anyone could have ever done. I mean, it's so dumb. Jason went after Spider-Man. I mean, what idiot goes after Spider-Man after just getting his new stuff right then and there? Come on! But Hobgoblin eventually proved to be a formidable opponent to Spider-Man, proving to be one of his most and awesome worthy adversaries for years to come.
Tell me, Spider-Man, how'd you find me?
I follow the slime trail.
A few of the reasons I really like this character is that he just looks cool. Whether that's robbing banks, extreme cosplay, or creeping people out at the mall, he looks like he's ready for anything and everything. Come on. Look at him. Could you imagine a live-action version of this guy? I think it would be awesome. Another reason he is voiced by the legendary, the talented, the exponentially psychotic Mark Hamill.
I'm going to enjoy shooting you down. Let's see what this baby can really do.
Who not only does the voice of this character, but also does the voice of the Joker in the Batman animated series. So if he does the voice of Hobgoblin and the Joker, does that mean Mark Hamill is psycho? I don't know. I love Mark Hamill for doing these characters. But the main reason I like this character is the feeling the animated series invokes. His backstory and standing as a worthy foe for Spider-Man speaks not only to the potential of the character, but what they could possibly do for him in future Spider-Man stories. With that being said, let's talk about my favorite underrated DC villain, which is who again? I mean, there's so many. I have it. DC is the home of arguably the greatest comic book villains of all time. Batman's Rogue Gallery alone have some of the greatest villains ever committed to storytelling. Among Batman's villains, there stands one who, I think, is criminally underrated and unknown. The character's name is Thomas Elliot. Thomas Elliot grew up in the same lifestyle as the Wayne family. In fact, Thomas and Bruce were best friends in the early years of their lives. While Bruce was raised in a wealthy household, Thomas was raised in an abusive home. His father was violent and his mother was frail and did everything she could to maintain the amount of finances that they had coming in. Thomas despised his family because of this and envied the life of Bruce. While he was very young, he wanted to be free of his parents and the suffering he dealt with his entire life. So, he severed the brake lines on his parents' car, killing his father instantly. Kid of the Year award? No, I don't know. However, his mother was saved by Bruce's father, but he still wanted his mother gone. Because of this, Thomas went into his mother's room one night and smothered her with a pillow until her life left her. Wow. Anyway, moving on. Naturally, he got all the money and went to Harvard University to learn to become a surgeon. He moved back to Gotham and became a successful practicing surgeon. His dwindling into the criminal underbelly of Gotham led him to his first interaction with the Riddler, who offered to sell him the identity of Batman. After Thomas learned of the Batman's identity, he became eager and hired a group of Gotham's most ruthless criminals to kill Bruce Wayne. When they failed, Batman traced all the evidence of the attacks back to Riddler. Riddler told him that an unknown criminal named Hush was behind all the attacks. From then on, Hush became Elliot's criminal alias. He found his professional career taking a back seat as he began his life mission to destroying the name of his former best friend, Bruce Wayne. He not only wanted to destroy the Wayne family, its reputation, and what it stood for, he also wanted to destroy the perception of Batman's integrity. Who does this? I'll tell you what kind of man does this. The man who took his newfound purpose to such extremes. He started to find people who had facial features of Bruce Wayne, killing them, and then grafting parts of their own face into his own until he successfully reconstructed the face of Bruce Wayne. This guy is sick in a whole new level, ladies and gentlemen. Hush is a cold, calculated, and genius villain. His motivations are driven by hatred for his former friend, who he blames for the most painful times in his life. Bruce's family was loving. Thomas's family was abusive. Bruce's family didn't struggle for their wealth, while Thomas's did. Bruce's parents was his entire world, while Thomas hated his parents. Bruce became selfless and offered his life in service to protecting people. Thomas, on the other hand, became more and more self-centered and did everything for himself. It is this irony that causes Hush's deep hatred for Bruce, making him, in my mind, not only one of the most interesting Batman villains, but one of the best villains of all time, and also an underrated villain for simply that fact. These are some of my favorite underrated villains from both Marvel and DC. So I have one question. Who do you think is more underrated? This is a question-based channel. You can put your questions in the comments below, or go to my channel's designated email. Also, please emphasize which category, be it comics or movies, your question is about. And remember, now you know what Aaron knows. Stay nerdy, my friends.